Okay, I think it's working. Exciting, exciting. Okay, excellent. So who do we got tuning in? We got Leo from Berlin. Welcome, welcome. Eliza from Rhode Island in the States. Stephen from Florida. Wyatt, welcome, welcome. We got Mark from London. Welcome, welcome. Michelle from Oregon. Darren from Sheffield, England. Christina from Colorado. Yeah, Michelle, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Manuel from Zurich. Dean from Maine. And Corey, you can't see your mic or your camera. That is totally normal. This is a webinar. It's not a normal Zoom meeting. All right, Corey, you are in Germany. Excellent, excellent. And I am tuning in from Berlin, Germany myself. If you don't know me, I'm from the States originally. I've lived on 4 different continents, and now I am in Berlin, Germany. Blair from Tennessee, welcome, welcome. Dylan from Canada, welcome, welcome. Nice to have you. Yeah, anyone just popping in now, you can just let us know where you're tuning in from, what your name is, and what your intention for joining QAA is. What are you intending to create and to manifest in your life at the end of this 2 weeks? And Anna from Amsterdam. Also, so just make sure that in the chat, your 2 is set to everyone rather than hosts and panelists. I believe it defaults to hosts and panelists. And if you keep it on that, then everyone can't actually see what you're saying. Only I can see what you're saying. So for the sake of community, just make sure that's set to everyone. All right, so Wyatt is hoping to manifest abundance. So Philip is tuning in from Germany. Excellent. Michelle wants to manifest a new car. Beautiful. Manuel, freedom. Leo says, I intend to fully rely on my inherent security and true abundance. Beautiful. Yeah, to be the source of your own abundance, right? So Nil Ramil says, knowledge, abundance, happiness, joy, stepping into path. I can feel those vibes. Love it. Mark says, abundance, financial exchange for creative works, feeling part of the abundant universal flow. Can feel those vibes. So basically what we're doing here in QAA is we are creating this high vibrational container in which for you to manifest that which you are intending for yourself and for the collective at large. So just take a moment after you've shared your intentions to kind of sit with each and every other person's intention as well, and to imagine you're kind of holding this in this golden bubble together. We're going to amplify our energies and we are going to manifest each and every one of these things. So Stephen says, looking to be able to be self-sufficient amongst the community, finding my way of serving and living a life I can love, a new place to live, and embodiment without anxiety and doubt. Yes. Snaps for that. I can feel those vibes. I can feel the freedom in that, the abundance in that. All right, Darren says abundance, financial freedom, living as a sovereign spiritual being. Juicy, juicy. Okay, what else do we got? So Corey says my job, which is a buyer and merchandiser. Okay. And Eliza says, financial and wellness support from the universe to be able to follow my life purpose more freely and easily. Yes, like free from the resistance. And welcome, Alicia. So success in my spiritual business, snaps for that. Enjoyment and alignments. Excellent. Can you guys feel the hive vibes? And Pat, welcome, Pat from Canada. Excellent. Awesome to have you here, my friend. And okay, just checking over here. Yeah, surprise people on YouTube. Normally, this is kind of a private event, but I just felt inspired to share this first day of the Quantum Abundance Accelerator live on my YouTube as well. So I hope you guys enjoy. I won't always be able to see what you're saying if you're tuning in only from YouTube because I'm kind of keeping an eye more on the Zoom comments. But know that I'm with you. I'm feeling the vibes here. And yeah, I'm supporting you in your intentions. So Corey says, oh, this is beautiful. I want you all to get your wishes to come true. And for those who want financial freedom like me to get it. Amen to that. Snaps for that. Dean says, looking for self-made abundance through sovereignty, spiritual awakening, serving humanity, being my own creative boss of my reality. Beautiful. Felina from California, welcome. My intentions are for financial freedom, to be of service to others, to fulfill my soul's mission. Amen. I feel these really high vibrational intentions, right? I can feel just the purity of each and every one of your intentions. And that purity is important for abundance. Abundance is drawn to that purity. It wants to be channeled through, to flow through that purity. And the more you are kind of coming at it from this energy of like generosity and wanting to give and to grow and to expand, the more abundance you will receive. Cool. Pat Dragon is driving or about to drive, but you'll be listening. Excellent. Cool. Okay. Excellent. So let's do some housekeeping, shall we? I think we got a good group of people settled in here. Let's do some housekeeping. So first and foremost, the general layout of these workshops for those of you who have not attended before. So usually how it goes is first we will dive into some teaching and I will talk, but it isn't just words that you will be receiving from these teachings. It is an activation and you will feel it. You will be able to feel the energy. And so I encourage each and every one of you, even if you're not able to participate, to kind of just have this on and just have it and vibe with it, because just being in this container alone is going to activate you. It's going to activate your abundance. It's going to lift your vibe. And I don't know anyone, honestly, that feels in a low vibrational state once they're out of these workshops, myself included. Like sometimes I'll be going and really nervous to hold like this container for everyone, really like unsure of how it's going to go in this kind of low vibe state. By the time I start, honestly, the workshop, my vibe is completely shifted. And by the time I end it, I'm like high off of the vibes, high off of the energy. So I encourage you guys to just, keep it going as long as you can. And same goes, if you're not able to attend live, you can still pick up these vibes in the replays. So definitely, chill with those replays, take some time to integrate them. After we do these teachings, we're going to do like general practices to actually wire these things in and to integrate, because integration is so important. And I don't know about y'all, but I definitely have a tendency to like want to gather more and more information, more, consume, want to learn everything I can about something. but you can have like all the knowledge, all the wisdom in the world, and it can be meaningless if you're not like taking action to ground that and to integrate that. So that's why we do these practical exercises to already start wiring this in a very physical and tangible way. So for that being said, I recommend to get a notebook that you're going to use just for QAA for the next 2 weeks, and to just take notes in that, to write down any revelations, any manifestations that you have. And you can also use that for the practices that we will be doing together throughout QAA. Also, in QAA, not every single time, but some of the times, and today we're about to do this, there will be a meditation. And again, this isn't just a meditation. This is like a quantum healing activation journey. I can use all the jargon I want, but it's an experience, and you will feel it in a moment when we do this meditation together. But there will be meditations sometimes to help you further wire this in and to really like permeate your energy itself. Because again, I'm sure you've done webinars before, you've done workshops before, you've learned before, and you can learn, you can even do, you can do the practices and stuff, but maybe you're still not getting results because the energy is not being addressed, the root is not being addressed. And so that is where these quantum healing meditations come in. That will get right down to the energy and really allow you to open to some big shifts. And so then at the end of every session, there will be a Q&A time, not to be confused with QAA, which is what we are in, the Quantum Abundance Accelerator. There will be a Q&A in which you can have your questions answered. If you have questions about what we covered in the session for that day, that's cool. If it's something totally random, that's also cool. Like if you've got a personal thing that you're struggling with, you want some like personalized coaching from me, happy to do it. If you're wondering about, let's say, dragons or twin flames or ascension or the current energies, anything and everything that you want to know about, you are welcome to ask these questions, and I'm happy to answer those at the very end of each session. And I do my best every time to get to all the questions that I can. Depending how many there are and how much time we have, I might not be able to get to all of them, but I always do my best, and I'm usually able to do it. So on that note, if you have any questions throughout the session, I want you to drop those in the Q&A box. So if you're on Zoom, go to More, and you will have like a pop-up, and there will be a little thing that says Q&A. That is where you can drop your questions, okay? And you can also see like answers to other people's questions and so on and so forth. So this is basically the hub for the Q&A. And you're welcome to ask any questions throughout QAA, but know that if you're asking questions like in the chat, I might not always see it. And also because I tend to be a little ADHD, I don't always want to answer that to get like distracted and to go down a rabbit hole. So the best way to ensure that your questions are answered are to drop them in that Q&A box. And like I said, I'm usually able to get to most of them at the very end of the session. I also might be bringing people on for live personalized coaching at the end of each session. So that's something you might want to think about if you're feeling called, if there's something like really individualized in your life that you're struggling with, that you really want to offer up to this space to be transmuted and healed. You want some personalized feedback and guidance and love. Think about that, and I may just bring you on at the end of the session. All right, so cool. Nil Ramil already has one. The dragons told you. Perfect. Perfect. They got you. All right, so we've got some shorthands that I always like to do in these webinars. So let's practice this together. When you say yes, the shorthand for yes is 1. So I want you guys in the chat right now to just type 1, 1, 1. Let me know that you're seeing this, that you're hearing this. All right. Yeah, we got some yeses. Beautiful. And again, make sure your chat is set to everyone rather than hosts and panelists so we can all interact with you. And I'm not the only one seeing it. So then we have a special bonus. You would think that 2 would be no, right? But here we're high vibe. Here we like to do things a little differently. And 2 is actually sending love. So if someone, let's say, does a very vulnerable share, and you want to send them love, you want to support them, send us some 2s. Let's try it out right now in the chat. 2, 2, 2. And 2 it holds the vibration of partnership and co-creation and collaboration. That's why I always feel called to use that as sending love. So beautiful. Looking good, looking good. All right. So finally, if you have to say no to something, if your answer truly is no, secret third option number 3. So you can type that in the chat right now. 3's for no. Excellent. Looks great, guys. Looks great. All right, so I have a note about this. I'll say it again. I guess it needs to be said again. So get yourself a notebook just for QAA if you don't already have one. And again, you can just use this to keep track of what you've learned, the breakthroughs that you've had, the exercises we do together. And this is seriously, like, I cannot stress enough the importance of this, because let me know, let's practice what we just did with the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. Have you ever like really done sort of like a quantum leap, but you feel like you aren't really making any progress? You feel like you're kind of running on a hamster wheel, and maybe like an old trigger comes up and you're just like, oh, why am I back here again? Oh, have I grown at all? Yeah, so we got some ones, we got some affirmation there. I definitely struggle with that too from time to time. And the antidote to that is to write things down, to write your breakthroughs down. And even your not breakthroughs, you can even just write about how shitty you're feeling that day. And it will show you the progress that you're making. So for example, maybe you're feeling really shitty today. That's totally okay. Write that down. And then maybe in 2 weeks, when you revisit that, you'll be like, wow, I'm in a totally different dimension now. I'm in a totally different vibration. I was feeling so shitty the other week, and now I can't even identify with that version of myself. So when you're keeping notes like this, it really kind of allows you to remember and to integrate the progress that you are making. So you don't forget in these moments when things are challenging and things are hard. You can be like, okay, maybe I'm revisiting this challenge again, but I'm revisiting it from a higher perspective, actually. It's not as bad as it was back then. Yeah, so Mark says, looking over old journals from 6 months ago, it's fascinating, right? It is absolutely crazy, because we think we really live in the now moment. As they say, all there is the present moment. All there is the now. And so right now, it feels like, oh, maybe you're not making any progress, or you haven't made any progress, because you are you right now. You are the eternal you. But if you kind of like stamp this moment in time by like writing about it, you can see how the you from this now is going to be different from the future now version of you. And now I hope you guys are still with me. This is getting way trippier than I imagined. This is like a Rick and Morty episode or something. It's really funny. Like on my way here, I kept seeing like Rick and Morty stuff. And yeah, maybe I'm taking you guys down a Rick and Morty episode right now with this. Michelle's like, truth, this really works. Yes, yes. And Michelle is a veteran QAAer and Dragon Wealther. So Michelle knows what she's talking about. All right. So other than that, housekeeping, the most important thing, friends, that you can do is to show up. Just show up. Again, even if you're feeling shitty, even if you have other things on and you just have to have this in the background, or even if you're just watching the replay because it's absolutely impossible to attend live, show up and show up consistently. There is a reason that I designed these free workshops to last for 2 weeks, because I want to help you. I want to be your accountability buddy to create this consistency in your life, because this is an absolute game changer. And we will go deeper into this in a few days. But it starts now with you making this choice, making this commitment to yourself to show up and to show up consistently. And I can tell you from past experiences with this, like usually so many people are so gung-ho and they show up on the first day, like, yeah. And then by like the last day, there's maybe like a fifth of the people. It's like the freaking Hunger Games. Like most of the people like dip out because of whatever reason. They get busy, they go back to their comfortable old vibrations, and they forget all about the progress that they've made here. They forget about this container. And that is okay, of course. But if you really want to level up, if you really want to use this to its maximum potential, and you want to have a breakthrough in your life, that can only be achieved if you're showing up for yourself consistently. So you can use QAA over the next 2 weeks as kind of this permission slip to commit to yourself, to choose yourself, to love yourself. And I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, to just put it in your calendar, make that commitment to yourself and be like, hey, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to do the homework, and you will see results. You will see results. And if you see results and you're like, okay, I got everything I wanted. My QAA intentions are complete. I manifested all the money I could ever want. Let's say I manifested the car, the home, the relationship. Keep going with it anyways, because how good can it get? If you can manifest something like within a few days of QAA, how good can it get if you stick with it and you keep going? It's crazy. I really feel like we're about to create this collective ripple of abundance together, and I hope you will stick with me throughout the entire container. So, final housekeeping note is that there will be recordings, replays available, and I will be putting these on YouTube as unlisted videos. So they're not going to be available to my general public YouTube channel. They're only going to be available for those who have signed up to QAA. So if you've not yet signed up for QAA, I recommend doing that so you can receive the links to these replays. And that means you can just listen to them as many times as you want. Let's say you're having a hard day, you just want to like pick up your vibe, you can play that in the background, or you can do one of the meditations from the sessions or something. And this really will help you to kind of anchor into this higher vibration over the next 2 weeks, regardless of the challenges that arise in the external world. And on that note too, make sure that you remain subscribed to my mailing list for the duration of QAA. Because if you sign up for QAA and then you're like, oh, I don't want these emails, then you're not going to receive the replay emails, the recording emails, because that's how I'm communicating with you throughout QAA. So it's important that if you're signing up for QAA, you stay on the mailing list for the next 2 weeks in order to consistently be receiving the reminders before the sessions and the replays after the sessions. And know that the replays, the recordings will be available until I believe May 5th, I think, because at that point we're kicking off with Dragon Wealth, which is the paid experience. I like to say it's the sequel to QAA and the sponsor of QAA, and I'll tell you more about that later today. But basically we'll be kicking off with Dragon Wealth at that point. So QAA is available for you entirely for free up until that point, which I believe is May 5th for this round. Nil Ramil, thank you. Your energy is amazing. My Leo ego receives that. Dean says, well, I am tired of comfy nothingness. Amen to that, my friend. Yeah, let's bust through it. And as you will learn, like one of my mantras that I always hammer again and again throughout QAA is that everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of your comfort zone. If you're not at least a little uncomfortable, if you're not clenching at least a little bit at the idea of stepping into your abundance, then you're never really going to grow. If you're just feeling comfortable, everything's working out, super easily, there's no confrontation whatsoever, you're not really growing. Everything you ever wanted lies on the other side of your comfort zone. Cool. No, Ramil, you speak my language. You're also a Leo. Beautiful. So yeah, let's wire that in, actually. Let's wire that in the chat right now, friends. And sometimes throughout QAA, also, I will have you guys typing in some of the mantras that we come up with as a way to really plant these seeds into the physical reality so they can grow and they can manifest. So let's type it in the chat. Everything I've ever wanted lies on the other side of my comfort zone. I'll type it with you guys. Everything I've ever wanted lies on the other side of my comfort zone. Boom. Sizzle. Yes. Thank you, Anna. Mark's a Leo rising. Makes sense on the connection. Beautiful, beautiful. Leos unite. Awesome. And yeah, YouTube people, I expect the same thing from you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like in the future, and you're not live, comment it. Comment these things as you go through this recorded session. And that's also a way of planting the seeds. It doesn't matter if you attend live or not. Okay, beautiful, guys, beautiful. And let's just take a moment. Let's place our hands on our hearts and just breathe in the abundance. Imagine that this is a golden light from source, from above, coming down now and shining out through your heart center. And imagine as you breathe it in, it is filling up your pores, your body, your very being. And as you exhale, you are sending that outward to each and every other person that is here, whether live or in the future, because time doesn't exist. Just set that intention now that together we're going to do this. Together, we're going to get out of our comfort zone. We're going to go to the next level. And that makes it a little less scary, right? If we're all doing it together, it's a little less scary. All right. So before we get into like the actual workshop, actual QAA, I'm curious, current energy vibe check-in. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? What is the current energy for you? Because I would say kind of the energy right now for myself, and it seems like a lot of people in my life, friends, family, clients, it's like being in a pressure cooker. It's almost like being in a birthing canal or being the mother about to give birth. It's like, there's no going back. You're so close to that breakthrough, but we're not quite there yet. And it's quite painful and there's a lot of pressure, but it's about to be so worth it. It's about to be this portal into everything that you've ever wanted. That's the vibe that I would say I've been feeling lately. I don't know if y'all have been feeling that yet. Anna's like, exactly. Oh my God. Beautiful. Let's see what you guys are saying. Wyatt's vibing. Mark says fire. Corey says my energy is, I'm not sure if that was a typo because of stomach pain. So stomach pain is kind of weighing you down. Sending you love, my friend. Ian says, let's do this. Lots of exclamation points. Michelle says, yes, lots of exclamation points. I love lots of exclamation points. Like, gotta love that energy. Gotta love those vibes. Steven says still a lot of confusion, not knowing what to do with all the energy. Yes, definitely. That's also a vibe right now is because we're in this like pressure cooker, this birthing canal. It is this kind of void-like state of still not quite knowing where we're going. But hopefully for most of y'all, it feels like lighter and brighter, even though you still don't know, you still can't see on the other side of this tunnel. Hopefully it's feeling much brighter and lighter now, and you feel like something good is blossoming. Let me know if that resonates. Tony says, high vibes lately. Amen to that. Um, Okay, so Nil Ramil says, amazing, before even better, your energy's raising mine, I guess is the best way to say. Yes, that I'm glad you're picking up on it already because that's what we all do for each other here in QAA. This is exactly what I'm talking about, how it's like, it's a container. It's an energetic container and an activation and experience where we all lift each other up and we hold this high vibe together because it's much easier together than alone, right? I don't know about y'all, but when I'm alone, like sometimes my thoughts can be real aggressive and I can feel really depressed and tired and like I just want to hermit and I just want to like kind of fold up inside of myself. But when I'm connecting with my friends, when I'm connecting with my clients, my community like this, oh my gosh, the expansiveness, the high vibes, juicy juice. Yeah, Lauren says it's tense. Brittany says, I'm doing great and had a massive realization and remembrance today. Woohoo! Snaps for that. Ha ha ha. Wow, what you just said was a massive understatement, right? Okay, Dean's doing okay for today. Okay, Dean, let's see if we can transmute that from okay to awesome. Manuel says, shift and integrate, heal and glow. Leo says, happy but overthinking and anxious as well. Perfect. You are in the exact right spot, my friend, because we are going to lay down the beat down to our overthinking today. Yeah, so the topic is perfect timing. Leo says, I feel like I have to decide for negative or positive beliefs. Yes, we are being pushed more and more. This is that pressure cooker energy, right? We are being pushed more and more to be the sovereign creators of our own reality, to take radical responsibility for our realities. And it's terrifying, right? But it's also exciting and empowering as fuck. Okay, Mark's on the precipice. Ian's like, let's go. Darren says, generally high vibe, but so ready for a major shift to come. Yes. Can you guys feel it too? Like reading each comment, hearing me speak each comment aloud, can you feel how the energy is building and how we're all like vibing, we're connecting, we're supporting each other? Eliza says, great so far. Pollen has been kicking my ass, but other than that, great. Yes, I was just talking to my best friend in the States, and oh, it sounds like the pollen's super bad there right now. Yeah, Michelle, thank you for that. Michelle, as a mother, says you don't remember the fucking pain. After we've given birth, you don't remember the fucking pain because you're like, whoa, this is amazing. New life, new life. Felina, also a mother, says the birthing energy is accurate. Glad to hear that. Brittany says, thank you. Yes, what I mentioned, it blew my heart chakra wide open, more than I'd previously experienced in this incarnation. Amen to that. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Blair says the veil is very thin right now too. Saw a random ghost woman in my house this morning. Very unexpected, laughing my ass off. Just a day in the life, right, Blair? Just a day in the life of a light worker. We're always like vibing with these spirits and whatnot. They're drawn to us. Eliza says ADHD is on overdrive too. Totally, totally. Yeah, Ian says something was trying to block me from joining, but the gremlins failed. Amen to that. Take that, Matrix. That's what I say. Take that, Matrix. You can try and stop us, but you can't stop us anymore. We are an unstoppable force of change together. So on YouTube, we have Tizora says, I have recently been told by a practicing witch I'm a spiritual bomb. I feel it, but I have no idea what I am truly. Could have been mind games. My life is insane. Spiritual bomb, that is accurate. I feel like that is accurate for everyone here. We are like spiritual bombs. We come in, we shake shit up. We shake the paradigms up. We are walking chaos. Do you guys agree? Do you feel that? Give me some ones if you agree. Beautiful, beautiful. Lauren, I can actually relate. So Lauren says I've been on a clumsy rampage, keep hurting myself in ridiculous ways. I'm chaos. Me too. And I like the other day, I never really wear like a helmet while I'm riding my bike, but I just was thinking about how I don't want to ride my bike without wearing a helmet now because I'm like, I just keep hurting myself. Like, let's kind of protect ourselves ahead of the time now. That is the energy right now. We need helmets to protect ourselves from ourselves right now. Because we are that chaos. We are these spiritual bombs. Um, all right. So let's get into it, friends. I'm going to talk now about QAA and why I'm doing this. Feel free to continue interacting with each other in the comments. I won't be looking at them so much for the time being so that I can focus box myself. I don't get pulled down the rabbit holes. So QAA, essentially, why am I doing this? Why am I doing QAA? QAA is 2 weeks of entirely free workshops. Why am I doing this? Well, let me tell you, because I am sick of seeing broke, suffering light workers slash starseeds slash dragon souls slash chosen ones slash insert your label of choice here. How about you? Are you tired of seeing broke, suffering soul sisters, soul brothers? Are you tired of suffering yourself? But getting help can be a challenge. Have you seen doctors, therapists, healers, psychics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and yet it still doesn't seem to solve your problems? Like all the ones for me. I've tried everything. Like I've tried everything. Um, so basically that's my story, friends, and that's why I've created QAA is I've played spaghetti, as I like to put it. So for those of you not familiar with this analogy, it's throwing spaghetti at the wall. Essentially, it's like you try a bunch of different things, you see what sticks, okay? And I'm being called to share this right now. I don't think I've ever shared this before on QAA, but for anyone that's aware of human design, my profile is 3-5. And basically, apparently this is like super common for my profile, the 3-5, the martyr heretic. With this martyr line, that 3 energy, that's what you do. You just play spaghetti. You do all these different things. You fail a lot, you suffer a lot, but you learn from it, and you can then help other people learn to not make the same mistakes. But basically, I did all the things, friends. I did all the things, the different healing methods, and nothing really stuck until I started addressing healing from all 4 areas of life at once. So what I learned is that there are 4 different realms. And apparently, I learned this in the first QAA. I didn't even know about that until the first QAA. But apparently, this is in like the Native American medicine wheel and many indigenous traditions that there are 4 different realms. And it's true. There are 4 different realms: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And unless you are addressing all 4 of these realms, likely you're not going to experience lasting healing and change and integration. Now it's possible, like if you're addressing one thing. So let's say in modern society, in the matrix, we have a tendency to address the physical realm more so than other things, and the mental realm too. The emotional realm we're getting better at. Spiritual realm still more or less completely neglected. But basically, let's say you're addressing healing from the physical realm. You're going literally to a doctor. You're getting prescribed medicine. Maybe you're changing your diet or something. You're getting healed on a physical level. And let's say it works and it heals you for a time. But then let's say months down the line, maybe even a few years down the line, you have the same pain come up, the same injury, the same illness. It comes back into remission because there's an underlying root that hasn't been addressed by only addressing the physical realm. Now, if you were to take that same physical issue and you were to address it from the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical realms, you could obliterate it, or rather you could integrate it, heal it, and actually see lasting change. So that is kind of the purpose of QAA. That is what this is all about. The next 8 weeks, we're going to go deep. The first week, we're going to learn about each of these 4 different realms. And today's focus is the mental realm. Over the next few days, we'll go into the subsequent realms. And I will teach you practices you can do to start addressing these realms. And just even after this first week alone, you should be able to kind of address any issue that you have in your life from all 4 different realms, using these practices, using these meditations, using these teachings. And you can heal yourself. And that, my friend, that is true abundance. So a lot of people too, I think when they hear the title of these workshops, Quantum Abundance Accelerator, immediately we think about money, right? We go to money. Money is certainly a part of it, but it is not limited to money. Abundance is far more than just money. And so in next week, in the second week, we're going to address abundance in all these different aspects of life. So we're going to address abundance like in money, abundance in relationships, abundance in health, and abundance in your sacred work. It's a really, really exciting time. Can't wait to dive into it and see what transformations you guys have. But just let me know if you guys are with me for now, if this is resonating, if this makes sense. Cool. All the abundance, says Mark. Amen. Yes. Why it says 8 weeks, not 8 weeks. I don't know if I said that. Maybe I said the wrong thing. 8 days, 2 weeks, 8 days, 2 weeks. Really cram it in as a serial fire sign. I like stuff to happen fast. That's why it's the Quantum Abundance Accelerator. It's fast. It's supercharged, and you will feel the energy over these 2 weeks. All right. Any questions or anything? Cool. Yeah, Claire says like the tarot suites. Exactly. So these 4 realms are associated with the 4 elements, the 4 phases of matter, the 4 tarot suites. We'll be talking about that a little bit later in QAA as well. All right. Seems like we're all on the same page. Ian says, feeling a little attacked yesterday, which tells me I'm so close to manifesting. Exactly. And what if that feeling of being attacked was like a manifestation of your own shadows and your own resistance to change, the part of you that wants to stay in the comfort zone because as fucked up as it is, maybe like being in survival mode, being attacked is comfortable. It's all you've ever known. I can certainly relate to that. I'm currently in the process of releasing this like martyr energy that I hold, where I'm just constantly fighting and I'm suffering and I'm struggling. Who's with me? Who's been a little bit of a martyr and who's ready to release that martyr energy? Amen. Cool. Yeah, Ian says other shadows will dance with other shadows as well. Exactly. And then it just becomes this whole mess. It just becomes this whole mess. So better let's reel those puppies in while we can. Take charge. Send them light, send them love. And they have no choice but to dissolve. All right. So without further ado, friends, we're going to get into our meditation today. And this is going to be an especially powerful one. We are going to connect with our future most abundant self, our highest timeline self. And we are going to kind of connect with each other and our energies. We are going to plant the seeds of our intention for QAA and just for the collective at large, for our personal lives. And together, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to manifest that tangibly, physically. So without further ado, you can get into a comfortable position, ideally somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed, shall we say. And if you're doing something else like driving, that's cool. Just make sure you focus on what you're doing. You can have this on in the background. Don't get too lost in this. And when you are ready to begin, you can close your eyes and start to bring awareness to your breathing. Not controlling your breathing. Just allowing it. Observing it. Drawing awareness to it. The inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Setting the intention that with every inhale, you are connecting directly with source lights. You are drawing it in, down through the head, through the crown chakra, into your body, allowing it to wash over you in waves upon waves of healing, enlivening energy, activating you, activating your light codes, preparing your DNA, opening you to your abundance, to your truth, to the wholeness of who you are, who you've always been. Allowing yourself to sink into that, to ground into that, knowing that you are safe, you are connected, protected, and loved, always, in all ways. You are that you are. Now on your next exhale, simply doing brief yet conscious body scan, starting at the top of your head, moving down, down through your head, into your neck and shoulders, down into your arms, wrists, hands, fingers, back, up into your chest, your upper back, down into your stomach, your lower back, down even further into your groin, to the thighs, knees, calves, all the way down into the ankles, feet, and toes. As you perform this body scan, just noticing any part of you that feels a little off, any part of you where you're noticing tension, pain, anxiety, resistance. And as you exhale each time, you can imagine that you are loving these parts of yourself, and then you are sending them to Mother Earth for transmutation. As you get lighter and lighter, clearer and clearer, more and more grounded in your own energy, present in the now moments, in the truth of who you are, what you came here to do and to be, knowing that you are, you are whole, you are safe, you are free, you are abundance. In your next inhale, imagining again that you are drawing in that golden source lights, this light of Christ consciousness, of pure love, abundance, wealth, freedom, allowing that to wash over you in waves upon waves, healing, enlivening energy, clearing out any heaviness, any darkness from your system, bringing you back to states of alignments, trust, wealth in all aspects of life, knowing that you are divinely held by the universe, always in all ways. You are held, you are safe, you are free. You are that you are that you are. And now I want you to imagine you are opening your third eye. And as you do so, you see that you are surrounded by brothers and sisters of the lights. You are surrounded by soul family, those who are attending QAA Live or watching the replays in the future. We are all here together now in this sacred space of co-creation, in the wholeness of who we are. Together we create a circle, and you can imagine that each of us is a blazing beam of light. As we embody into our light bodies, as we integrate. And in this state of being in your light body, imagine you are now taking the hands of the person on your left and the person on your right. You can take in a nice, deep, conscious inhale of source energy again, filling your pores, filling your cells, filling your entire body, your entire being with this golden, abundant energy. And this time, as you exhale, imagine that you are sending that energy to the person on your right-hand side, blessing them. And as you inhale, this time you are receiving that very same light from the person on your left-hand side until you ground into the sacred flow of giving and receiving with grace. Exhaling, giving. Inhaling, receiving Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Feeling yourself grounding into the wholeness of who you are, who you came here to be, what you came here to do, knowing that you are connected. We are in this together, and we are always connected to Source, to God, to the universe, to our higher selves, our spirit guides, our dragons, our angels, the ascended masters, any and all who serve the lights. We are connected always and always. Inhaling and really allowing that connection in now, opening your heart to this connection and receiving it, becoming it, as we create this bubble of unconditional love and abundance around us, around this sacred space, this circle we have created together. Taking a moment to place your hands on your heart in the 3D, feeling into your heart space and just having gratitude for this moment, knowing that all is well. You are perfectly aligned. Everything is working out, best case scenario. You can let the 3D fall away. You can release your burdens, put down your struggles, your doubts, your fears, your traumas, letting them go, letting them flow back to Mother Earth. Receiving support now, becoming support now, knowing that you are the source of your own abundance. Up until this point, some part of you has been holding you back because you chose to do so at a soul level, as was part of your mission. But you no longer need to act out that story. You get to be free. It gets to be easy, fun. You get to give and receive with ease as we create the new earth together. Allow yourself, as you take another nourishing inhale, to sink into the perfection of this present moment. Knowing that all is well. You are blessed. You are so divinely loved. You are held by the universe always. In all ways, you are provided for. Your abundance is manifesting. Simply allow it to be so, and you will see it. In this space, you see a portal opening in the center of this circle that we've created together. This portal will take you to your future self. This portal will take you to your most abundant, highest timeline. All you must do is step through it. So on the count of 3, together, each and every one of us will step through this portal, and we will begin to attune to the frequencies of this highest, most abundant timeline. 1, 2, and 3. Stepping through the portal, opening now, entering, becoming your highest self, your highest timeline. You can feel immediately the frequency shift. You may experience release. Perhaps you want to cry, laugh, yawn, burp. Just let your body process and let go. It is safe to let go now. It is safe to become. Take a moment now to ground into this timeline, sense by sense, noticing what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you can touch physically. Maybe even taking a bite out of something or a drink of something in this reality, in this timeline, tasting it. Tasting your abundance, allowing it to spread throughout your entire body and your being as you do so. And then, most importantly, noticing how you feel right now, energetically, emotionally. How does it feel in this timeline? Holding that feeling in your heart space and allowing it to expand and to grow. Letting go of anything and everything that says that you cannot. And now your future self notices you. They become aware of you and they approach you with love in their hearts, with a big smile on their face, welcoming energy. They invite you to take their hand as they show you a glimpse of this highest timeline. They know that this glimpse is exactly what will allow you to anchor it in, to make it so, to weave together the fragments of your soul that have been lost up until now. So let them show you around. Let them show you this timeline, this reality, and enjoy. I will give you a few minutes in silence to explore and to play now. And now, your future self takes your hands in theirs and looks you deeply in the eyes with so much love and compassion. They are so grateful for you. It is because of the contrast you've experienced, the suffering that you've been through, the pain, that they are here now, and also that you are there with them. They became who they are because of you. And so now they wish to embrace you. They wish to integrate their frequency with yours so that you may ascend, so that you may start to experience this ease and flow right now at a multidimensional level. So in the 3D, you can physically embrace yourself and imagine as you are doing this, that you are physically embracing your future self, your higher self, and that you are merging, you are becoming one with them. You're absorbing their frequency, attuning to it, allowing it, receiving it. Knowing that all is well. You are divinely held. You are so loved. You are so divinely provided for always in all ways. And you always have been, even in the moments where you seem to struggle the most, you seem to be in separation, darkness. You were never alone. This was all a part of the plan. So take a deep breath and relax into that, knowing it is all happening according to plan. You are safe. You are whole. You are ascended. You cannot fail. You haven't done anything wrong. It's happening now. Ascension, your dreams, your abundance, it's all manifesting right now. So with one final deep breath, imagine that that energy is just washing over you now like a shower. And as it does so, it becomes an armor, a cloak of invincibility. This is a gift from your higher self and guides. You can take this with you from this moment forward in your 3D life as you encounter challenges, struggles, overthinking. Call upon this armor, this cloak, this energy to protect you, to remind you that your abundance is inevitable and that you are an unstoppable force of change, a beacon of unconditional love and light in this world and in all worlds. And so it is. Now the portal back to the 3D opens before you, and you start to approach confidently, feeling a complete difference in your energy because you know that no matter what happens now, you will be taken care of. You are the sovereign creator of your reality, And now, in taking part in this experience, you are choosing yourself. You are choosing wealth. You are choosing ease, flow, love, abundance, freedom. You are breaking that old, outdated matrix once and for all. On the count of one, you can step through this portal. We will return to the 3D, but we will not be returning to the world that we left at the beginning of the meditation. Rather, we will be returning to an uplifted world, an ascended world, where anything is possible, where you are always taken care of, where you are divinity incarnate. On the count of one, you can step through that portal and return fully integrated, fully activated, fully ready to experience the wholeness of who you are on all timelines. Three, two, and one. Stepping through the portal, coming back to your body, fully integrated, fully activated, fully ready to start seeing some tangible manifestations of your abundance. Ready for this adventure, this next leg of the journey. You can take a moment to just ground into your body, stretching it out, shaking it out, coming back to presence. And if you haven't done so, you can now open your eyes and you can let me know in the chat or in the comments how you're feeling and how that was for you. Mark says lights, beautiful. Moon says better than when I started, much lighter. No Ramil says gratitude. Manuel says lighter and more free. Beautiful. Yeah, just take a moment to anchor yourself into that lightness and to know it gets to be like this. You get to be this light whenever you want. Steven says beautiful, feeling more hope. Dylan says, I saw many standing around and a portal opening when we were returning. Before jumping in, I was looking around and admiring the surroundings, and you looked over at me and was like, come on, Dylan, time to go, LOL. I love that vibe. It's like, yeah, like I'm a school teacher or something, and you're that kid that's like distracted. Oh, pretty colors. Leo says, too much pressure in the head and the energy around my head to let much though through. That's okay. Know that everyone's going to receive exactly what they're meant to right now. If you want, you can always revisit this another time when you're feeling a bit lighter to fully anchor that in. But yeah, you will receive exactly what you need to. So Chris is feeling fantastic, buoyant. Feeling like $1,000,000, says Dean, and lighter than air. Amen. Snaps to that. Julia says, I was glimmering. Eliza says, I used my dragon wand on myself as I was meditating and had it hovering over my forehead, and holy, my third eye tingled like crazy, and I moved it over my heart and felt it there too. Woo, I can feel the energy just as you talk about it. That is totally magical. Ryan says, walking on water over on YouTube. Claire says, great power in joining together. Elsie says, that was good. Amen. Amen to that. That's beautiful. Michelle says, it was very beautiful as usual. Eliza's third eye is still tingling right now. Love it. I love it, friends. So in these vibes, we're going to take what I always like to call, and people, if you follow me for a while, if you've worked with me in my private communities, you'll know I like to take transmutation breaks. So essentially, this is a pee break. That's our cute name for a pee break, because literally when you are peeing, you are transmuting energy, my friend. So we are going to take a transmutation break now and just allow yourself to just really sit in this high frequency energy we just generated and to ground that. And if you have to transmute, let yourself transmute, let yourself release the old vibes. We will come back in just a couple minutes. And when we do so, we're really going to start anchoring this in by doing these practical exercises together and talking about money and blockages to money and this Robin Hood energy thing that just came in and a bunch of fun stuff. And also, we still have our Q&A at the very end. So just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, you can drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box, and I'll get to those at the end of the session. Felina says this was so incredibly powerful. Michelle also says third eye is tingling. Beautiful. Nil Ramil says got me cracking up. Good, good. That's what we go for. Yeah, Michelle says Robin Hood. Yes. I'm gonna cliffhanger you there, Michelle. We're gonna talk about that shortly. Cool. So I'm gonna go on my transmutation break. I will see you guys in a couple minutes. Feel free to keep chatting with each other in the meantime and keep transmuting that energy. I'm glad that you appreciate my chair. I just saw, yeah, like I just saw, I'm back, by the way. If you didn't know, if you couldn't hear me, I'm back. But yeah, I realized you guys can see actually my chair when I'm not there. So the dragons are kind of like holding my place for me while I'm not around. I love it. Yeah, glad you guys are picking up what I'm putting down in the chair. It's my dragon throne. And okay, I'm noticing on YouTube, so Violet says, I still have some trouble connecting with my energy. Like I'm not sure what I feel. I've been depressed for so long. I feel a bit lighter, but I have trouble believing in myself after failing so much. Let's just all take a moment to send Violet some love. Let's send some twos to Violet. And I will say, yeah, I feel you on that. It's hard when you've been through so much trauma to believe in that, to lift your frequency. The fact that you feel a little bit lighter is amazing. It's truly amazing. So just allow yourself to sit in that and to sink into that lightness and know that that's perfect for you right now. Because probably if you've been in this energy of failure for so long, if you were to like just go massive high vibe all of a sudden, it would be like a shock to the system. Your body would not be able to handle it. So probably it's like you can trust that your higher self and your guides are just easing you up the ladder, if you will. And if you're attending these sessions regularly, Violet, or anyone else, you can trust that probably by the end of the sessions, number 8 in 2 weeks, you will be able to hold that higher frequency. So I would encourage you or anyone else who's kind of really struggling to hold that frequency to keep coming back, and step by step by step, you will climb the ladder in perfect timing for you. So I hope that helps. Sending you love. And yeah, we got lots of people on Zoom sending you love, Violet. You can't see it, but yeah. And make sure, Zoom people, that you're set to everyone rather than hosts and panelists. I still see a couple of you that are set to hosts and panelists, just an FYI. Cool. Ian's feeling great now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we've got a lot of ground to cover still, so let's get down to it. First and foremost, I'm going to throw a question out to you guys because I love to just talk to you guys, to vibe with you guys. What is abundance? What is abundance? Maybe your future self in that meditation kind of showed you what abundance is. What is abundance to you? Hint, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's whatever you feel it is. And it's going to differ from person to person. Meanwhile, Brittany says there were some visuals, and at one point it went from seeing images to suddenly only white light, which is a big positive thing. I oftentimes get no visuals at all, just darkness when meditating. Did begin as only darkness. Eventually, slowly began getting some visuals through starting with a dark circle pulsing outward. So that was great. Woo! I feel that, Brittany. I feel that. That's such a huge breakthrough. Like, wow. That's like with Violet and with Brittany, I would say massive breakthroughs are happening already. Like that you were able, you don't usually get visuals, but you were able to get visuals, Brittany. Super exciting. Yeah, so keep with it and see what happens. Maybe by the end of QAA, you will have no problem like visualizing in your meditations on the regular. Okay, so now what is abundance? Dylan says, unconditional love, personal freedom, collective and personal acceptance. Stephen says, being able to express and be supported in sovereignty. Mark says, feeling happy, healthy, purposeful, financially secure, and in alignment. Michelle says, no more working about anything, working or worrying about anything. I would say both apply here, Michelle. Both apply, totally. And Steven says, I was able to taste some clean water when given that suggestion. Usually the feelings are less tangible. Beautiful. Improvements. I love it. Improvements. We're already having breakthroughs. We're only like an hour and a half into the very first session. We're already having breakthroughs. Woohoo! Dean says, abundance to me is all that is without restriction. Wise words. I can feel that one deeply. Yeah, amen. Amen to that. Yeah, Eliza says something similar. No limitations from the physical self getting in the way. Elsie says, it is living in magic. Juicy juice. Claire says, gratitude for what you already have. Yes, I love it. Michelle ate a piece of chocolate in the higher timeline. I love it. Sounds magical. Ian says, financial sovereignty, fulfilling my soul's path. Yes. Anything is possible, says SM. There are no limits. Mil Ramil says, bringing in what's rightfully yours. Amen. Like I said, no right or wrong answers here. Everything is going to be right for you, whatever it is for you, which is like exactly why I like to throw it to you. I don't want to just talk at you. I don't want to tell you what your truth is. I want you to dig deep into yourself and find your truth and pull that out and share it and show it to everyone and be like, hey, this is my truth. Here it is. No apologies. This is abundance to me. Manuel says, just be. Eliza says, letting go of the outdated beliefs from my parents and family, which are not my own. So abundance, I guess just to teach about it, what I see abundance as is it's a frequency, first and foremost. It's just a frequency, plain and simple. And it's a frequency that we've been trained out of in the false matrix. So just like the movie, The Matrix, this has kept us in this literal slave mentality. It has kept us disempowered. So if you've seen the Matrix movie, like when Neo wakes up and escapes the Matrix, you see how like everyone's in these machines and basically like their life force, their energy is being harvested. That is not fiction only. That is like reality. We've been kind of trained to be in this slave system, and everything that we've learned in the 3D basically contributes to that, contributes to us being victims, giving our power away for others to siphon. But no more, because you are going to attune to this frequency of abundance. In fact, you already have by doing this meditation and joining us for this session of QAA. So on that note, money, let's talk about money, because whenever anyone talks about abundance, money always comes up, right? Now, money is a natural byproduct of being anchored in abundance mindset. But one needs to first break through their limiting money beliefs before it's possible to like experience the fullness of that physical manifestation. So basically the energy here, to give you kind of a grounded analogy, if you were talking shit about someone that, let's say, you wanted to be your friend, do you expect that that person would show up for you? Or would they be like, no, fuck you, and they would eventually stop hanging out with you? So that's kind of what we're all doing to money, is we're like, oh, money, money, please be our friend. Money's like the popular kid. We're like, please be our friend. But meanwhile, maybe consciously, we're like, yeah, money's great. I love money. Money's great. I want more of it. But subconsciously, we have these insidious collective beliefs from this matrix slave system that are repelling money and being like, no, money, you suck. Stay away from me. I don't need you. And yeah, like if you're not experiencing like beautiful, perfect financial flow in the 3D right now, I promise you still got these in your system somewhere. They might be super, super subconscious, but that's what QAA is all about. We're going to bring those babies right out of your subconscious. We're going to lay the beat down to them. We're going to love them. We're going to integrate them. We're going to step into our abundance together. So on that note, a little update before we get into the 5 most common money blocks. So I just wanted to talk about this Robin Hood energy thing, because this was huge, absolutely huge. So I did a video about this, but I'm going to basically tell you what happened if you didn't watch the video. So a few days ago, I was like, my words are getting ahead of themselves. The energy is so high. Oh my gosh. So a few days ago, I was meditating with a friend, and we were in a park next to my new apartment. We were under these beautiful magnolias, and we were meditating on abundance. And I started first, like kind of getting hits of my personal abundance. And then I saw how that had an effect on like my friends and my family. And then I saw how it had an effect on like my clients and my students and the people that work with me. And then I saw how it would have an effect on like my community, like you guys here that are on live on YouTube or on the Zoom call. And then, friends, that led directly into this vision that I had for just the whole collective at large. And this vision that I had was like this energy that I describe as Robin Hood energy that came in likely sometime this year. So as of filming this, it's 2025. But I can't say for sure because time is all fluid and stuff, and it just keeps getting more fluid. But this energy came in sometime this year. And basically, it completely like switched the paradigm. So because we're still in the process of like breaking down the old matrix, stepping into the new divine matrix, we still have some of these old systems, these rules in play. And under the old system, basically you would be rewarded. Many people would be rewarded for hoarding money and being kind of greedy and, you know, just taking. They would be rewarded for that. That was totally like great under the matrix system where we're, you know, harvesting people's life force energy. But what happens with this Robin Hood energy is a complete shift of the paradigm where that no longer works all of a sudden. That rule, that program in the matrix, it no longer works. And instead, exactly what I'm telling you right now with this frequency of abundance, that works instead. So basically, when you just attune to this frequency of abundance, you're very generous, you're pure-hearted, you're giving, you're in service to others, to the collective, you just naturally receive an abundance of all the money and the resources that you could ever possibly want. And that is what is happening right now. And so if you have been kind of held back, and maybe you've attended QAA multiple times and you're just like, well, I still have the money blocks. Oh, like, why aren't they going? Well, know that like part of this is also kind of external self-sabotage, let's say, from this matrix system that has been holding us back. Know too that that's no need to go into your victim mindset, because our souls chose that. Our souls kind of held ourselves back consciously for a reason, because we were like lying in wait. We were lying in wait for this Robin Hood moment to kind of perform, as I like to say, to have fun with it, like a heist where we're going to shift the energies. And in this vision, I just saw like immediately, like some big event just happens. It's very quick and it completely shifts this paradigm. And all of a sudden, like all of these corrupt rich people that have been hoarding all of the money and just taking from others and taking and hoarding, they just lose it. And all the people like you that are pure-hearted, that are giving, that have been in struggle energy up until now, that have been held back by the system, you just get it. You get all of it and more. And I can remember about this vision, just the massive smiles on everyone's faces. Oh my gosh. Everyone was just thrilled. We were so happy. We were all in celebration. Like people were literally like dancing in the streets, like celebrating this. It was like the opposite of the Great Depression. Okay. It was like the opposite of the Great Depression energy. People were celebrating and it was so exciting. And because the paradigm shifted and the money now went to people that are generous and giving and expansive, like we were all sharing our wealth and our abundance with each other, and therefore growing it and amplifying it, because money wants to flow. It wants to be shared. It wants to expand. It doesn't want to be hoarded. That's like, it's like water, okay? It's like a river. You can imagine money, currency, like a river has a current, right? And that current wants to flow. But basically, what happens when you hoard money is you put a big dam up and you block that river from flowing. And that's kind of what's been happening collectively up until now, is like these dark forces have been hoarding the money, creating these dams, and it hasn't been flowing freely. But that's shifting, my friends. And you are a part of that shift, okay? And what you're being challenged to do right now, to lay the beat down to that old slave energy once and for all, is to hold this frequency of abundance and gratitude even before your external circumstances change. Okay? Can you guys do that? Can you make this promise to me right now? Because this is huge. This is huge. Can you make this promise that no matter what happens externally, you are going to choose to have gratitude? You are going to choose to have faith that you are abundance incarnate, that you are never separate from abundance. Beautiful. Got a lot of ones. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so Brittany says, yes, for many years I've had those ideas that we need Robin Hoods. And yeah, friend, we are those Robin Hoods. We are that Robin Hood energy together collectively. And we're turning the tables. We're turning the tables. And we had to be in struggle for a while because they would see us coming otherwise. You can't have a heist unless it's kind of, a little secretive and it's kind of going under their noses. That's what we've been doing all of these years in this struggle bug energy. But it's shifting now, and it's shifting this year, most likely. And maybe, just maybe, it starts to shift right now, like literally right now, as we are doing this quantum abundance accelerator. We are planting the seeds for this massive collective Robin Hood energy, this shift. So without further ado, friends, let's keep that party rolling. Let's like build that energy up. Yeah, let's break the matrix and let's start unearthing these insidious common money blocks. All right. So money block number one. Also, okay, preface before we get into this. As I say these, I want you to just kind of make notes in your notebooks, if possible, of like which ones you're resonating with, and even ones you don't think you're resonating with. And just kind of note, like, oh yeah, I can see how that would be in me. And we'll talk about it in a minute. All right, so money block number one is that money is the root of all evil, which, let me elaborate, is like money, you could say, is a necessary evil. It's like you don't really like it, you don't want to indulge in it, but you gotta. It's like this resistance to using money, to playing in that system, because you're like, it's a necessary evil. And this is like, if you have this belief, you might have the belief that like rich people are bad, like, and just all rich people are bad, and you can't be rich and also like a good person. And basically the embodiment of this energy that money is the root of all evil is these big corporations that just take and take and take, and they hoard and they hoard and they hoard. That is at the root of this belief, this blockage. So number two, before we do it, I'll throw it out to you guys. Do you resonate with that? Do you feel like there's at least a little bit of that in your system? I would say for me, definitely. I mean, I was just talking about it, right? How I feel like most of these one percenters are kind of hoarding the money. Yeah. Yeah, so Nil Ramil was told that as a child, so I could say it. Yes. And if you were told this as a child, almost definitely you have that belief within you. Because from the ages of 0 to 7, basically we are given all of these ideas and beliefs, even if we don't consciously want them. We are sponges. That's why they say kids are like sponges, right? So it lives within you, even if you're consciously like, no, I don't believe that, no, and you're rebelling against it, it's probably there. Yeah, Brittany has a good point. So Brittany says, to me, money is not evil. Evil is live backwards. The evil is the corporations, not the money. Exactly. So money, you can also see money as like, it's just a conduit. It's just a channel. It will amplify the energy of whoever is like using it. So with these big corporations that are hoarding and they're taking, it amplifies that. But also for people like you who are generous and giving and expansive, it amplifies that too. All right. So Woo, okay, this is money block number two. This one always hurts me because this is, I would say, one of the most prominent for me. I have to suffer in order to make money. Anyone resonating with this? This is basically like you have to work hard to make money. You have to sell your soul. You have to do something you don't like to make money. Otherwise, how are you going to live? If you're not doing something you don't like, if you're not giving hours and hours of your life to that job that you hate, how are you going to live? Or even if you are doing something that you enjoy, like me, you're not going to make money unless you are overworking yourself and you're just constantly on the clock and you're giving and you're overgiving and you're giving and you're overgiving. That's the energy of this one. Yeah, so a lot of people feel that, it seems. Yeah, it's a nasty one. Nasty. um, Yeah, and I remember, I'll just have a little story from this one to wire this one in, is I have this childhood trauma that I can't actually make money running my own business, because when I was like 7 years old, I did like all these crafts and I did like drawings and stuff. I was a very creative child. And I remember I was so entrepreneurial. I was just like trying to like sell them to other kids. I was like, oh, I'll give you this, give me like 5 cents, like give me a quarter, and I'll like give you this like craft that I made, or this picture. I'll do like a commission for you. I would take like commissions from like some of the kids at school. And then the teachers found out, and I got like in trouble for that. And they were just like, you can't do this. This is bad. It is wrong to take money for your art, essentially. And it really created this massive block that I didn't consciously become aware of until I was older. And I actually went to school for art and realized that I fully believe that I would just be in poverty if I was an art major. So I like switched majors. And I can see how this still comes into my business sometimes. I'm like, oh, I absolutely love what I'm doing. I absolutely love it. So I can't make enough money doing that, because it's not possible to make more than enough money doing what you love. So that is one it's quite insidious. And I think maybe all of us could have this to one degree or the other. And it is represented by the 9 to 5. Like that's the mantra of this one, is the 9 to 5 is this energy. Yeah, slave waging mentality, faux show. So number 3, and I don't know about y'all, we're only on number 3. I'm already getting fired up. I'm like, let's burn these. Let's burn these. We don't need this anymore. This is holding us back. So number 3 is kind of along the lines of this one. It's the harder I work, the more money I will make, AKA the longer I work, the more money I make. This is so present in our system, where it's like, okay, you put in X amount of hours and you make X amount of wage, right? You have an hourly wage. And it's very much based in this old system on like how much time you're putting in. But the thing is, like, wage slaves prove this isn't the case, right? It's like, I know people that work their asses off at like Walmart and like fast food places. They're exhausted. They're putting in tons of overtime and they're making nothing, right? So that one we can just slide that away. Does anyone relate to that one? Do you feel that one? And that one, I would say I let that one go probably fully. I'll get ahead of myself. I'll say I let that go fully after my farm slave experience, which I'll talk about more next week. But basically, I was like working on this farm and under these abusive circumstances, working like 60 hours a week. And it pushed me to my limits so hard that after that, that's when I actually started my business for myself. And I started doing this stuff full time, because I was just like, yeah, like, no, that shit don't work. Yeah, Ian was also a farm slave. Yeah, that shit's brutal. Yeah, Ian's like, the more taxes you pay as well. That slave system, it's very prevalent. Yeah, Claire's like, and there's an expectation. Yeah, amen. There's an expectation that if you're spiritual, you can't desire money, like honor and poverty. Exactly, exactly. We'll be getting to that one. Okay, this one also hurts. They all hurt. I'll be honest, they all hurt. If you really sink into the energy of it, which we're doing now, we'll lift ourselves up back out of this in a moment. But yeah, they hurt. Number 4 is, if I just had insert desired amount of money here, I'd feel safe. Anyone relating to this? If I just had, a big sum of money, I'd feel safe. If I just had like $1,000 more, I'd be safe. If I had a nest egg of $10,000, I'd feel safe. Yes. And this is like, we can disprove this one with like lotto winners, right? Lotto winners, like, they get so much money from winning the lottery, and within a few years max, so many of them are just like up to their knees in debt again, can't hold on to it, because that feeling of safety, it's got to come from within you, friend. It's nothing outside of you is ever going to give you that feel of safety. It's got to come from within. But the matrix, of course, wants us to believe that that's the case. That's how it keeps us disempowered, to make us feel like our safety lives outside of us and we have to take more. And that's what also kind of pulls us in to that hoarder mentality of these, like, you know, higher up rich elites that are hoarding the money, that are in this like corrupt energy. But when you are aligned with abundance, you know that your needs will always be met abundantly, regardless of what your external circumstances are looking like. And you will generate the needed money, the needed resources, exactly when you need to generate them. That is abundance. Yeah, so Dean says, the harder I work around here, the less I make, and more does not always mean better either. Exactly. I would say even like the longer people are working, once they hit a certain point, the productivity like plummets, right? Because people are tired. They're tired. They don't have any more life energy to give. And if Dean, you're working harder and you're making less, that's probably a sign from your soul that it's like it's time for you to blast on out of there and blast into alignment with your soul's purpose. Eliza says, is one of them feeling guilty of letting your loved ones down? Not exactly, no, but I would say that's amazing if you're recognizing that. I'm sure maybe there's some others that resonate with that. But that shows that you're already unearthing your own unique money blocks, and that's great, because a part of like transmuting them, we can't transmute them until we bring them into the light, until we're like aware of what they even are. And oftentimes, just in that awareness, you instantly transmute them. So that's what we're doing here. We're shining big neon lights on these money blocks. Yeah, Steven said they had to work hard, so now I have to too. All right. Dean says, I got people who are very well off here. They're but so lack mindset. It's stupid and hilarious to listen to all day. I noticed that as well. This is when I also noticed that that belief doesn't track, because I got the experience of having like friends that were rich, working for people that were really rich, and they were in like more of a lack mindset than me. And it was so shocking to me. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're scared to spend their money. And they want to like hoard like massive amounts of money to feel safe. Again, looking to the external to provide rather than generating it within. And again, that's where the Robin Hood energy comes in. So it's like that energy has been rewarded up until now, but the tables are turning. And you're going to help those tables along. All right, so here's the final one. And this is big in the spiritual community, okay? This is the spiritual one. Money doesn't matter. Which is basically, I don't care about money. We don't need money. We're going to the new earth. There's going to be no money. Money doesn't matter. And to that, I would say with this one, yes, it's true. Eventually it won't matter, but bring yourself back to the present. Right now, we're still in the system of money, so it does matter for the time being. And in order to break out of the system, we have to break it from the inside out. So the truth is, we are playing by the rules of this video game of life, and money is currently the currency we are using as the main form of energy exchange. So remember that. All right. So now, reflecting, I'll say all of the blocks again, and I'm curious, how many of these blocks do you relate to? You can let us know in the chat. How many out of 5 do you relate to? So number 1 is like, money is evil. It is a necessary evil. It is the root of all evil. It is associated with corruption. You will become corrupt if you have money. 2 is, I have to suffer in order to make money. I have to sell my life force. I have to be a slave. 3 is, the harder I work or the longer I work, the more money I will make. 4 is, if I just had X amount of desired money here, I'd feel safe. 5 is that money doesn't matter. I don't care about money. So yeah, all of the above on some level. 1, 2, and 5, says Mark. Yeah, Eliza says all of the above. Michelle says 1. Normal says 1. Stephen says 3 out of 5. Yeah. So the important thing again is that we just acknowledge that they're there. We may not like them. We may not even consciously agree with them, but just acknowledging, yeah, I can see how that's kind of in my system a little bit subconsciously. And just shine some light on that right now. Shine some love on that. Let's send some love to those money blocks, to ours and to everyone else's here too. Let's send some love. Remember, 2s is love. Now that was our little mental realm exercise. Becoming aware, right? Drawing awareness, being like, okay, I know it now. I know these are the money blocks. I know. But the mental realm can be a double-edged sword. And the mental realm can, unfortunately, keep us stuck in the matrix. So on that note, let's get to the topic at hand. How many of you would say that you struggle with overthinking? Yeah, we got a lot of passionate yeses. Yeah, that definitely my audience. Like we are thinkers. We like to overthink, right? We get caught in these thought loops. Blair says, not me, never. No, definitely not. All right. So that said, the matrix and the mental realm are basically the same thing. This is also an update to QA. I haven't really talked about this before, but this false matrix basically exists entirely in the mental realm. And that's how they had control, is they kind of controlled us with our own thoughts. They made us believe that those thoughts were ours and that we were our thoughts. But we are not, actually. We are infinite beings of love and light. And sometimes we pick up these thoughts like ticks in a forest. Because when you're living in this meat suit, like inevitably you're going to come across these collective entities, these energies. They're going to latch onto you and they're going to try and convince you with everything they have that they are you, but they're not. And so know that we've reached a point, energy update, as of filming this QAA round 4 taking place in April of 2025. We've reached a point on ascension where we can no longer remain in thought loops and overthinking, because the more you are thinking about stuff, the more you're going to be hurting and the more you're going to be suffering. The more you're going to be feeding that false matrix. You literally feed it by staying in those thought loops, giving it your energy. And it keeps you stuck. It keeps you trapped. So the key is to bring it back down to your heart, into your body, into the now moment. And you can do it because we did it today together in that meditation. That's exactly what we did. We brought it back to present. We got out of the head, the mental realm, the mind. We got back into our bodies, back into our power, back into our sovereignty. Eliza just heard Coldplay, Adventure of a Lifetime. Synchronicity. Yeah, it is an adventure, breaking free from the matrix. It's totally an adventure. And it's okay. Like, it's okay if you struggle with overthinking. I think we all have at one point or another, and we all still do, because that is the collective, that is the false matrix trying to keep us stuck, to keep us out of our power. I will say another way to get out of that is simply just to take action. That immediately gets you out of your head, and then it gives you something to respond to in your environment. But that, friends, is a session for another day. We'll get into that later this week. For now, I just want you to see that your thoughts are kind of like clutter in your mind and in your energy. So your body, as they say, is a temple. And these thoughts and these thought loops that you have, they're just trash. they're trash and they're clutter that are defiling your temple. And when you have all this trash, all this clutter in your temple, there's no space for abundance. There's no space for abundance. And all that abundance really is it's your connection to source, to all that is, to your higher self. So today, what we're going to do is my special technique for clearing mental clutter, which I like to call energetic shower journaling. And why this works is basically, think about it. So every day, usually for most people, every day you're taking a shower, right? Or a bath to kind of cleanse your physical body, to get any grime off of your physical body. But do we do that for our energy? Do we do that for our minds? Most people do not. So enter the energetic shower journaling exercise. This is basically a shower for your mind, for the mental realm, for your body temple, for your energy. And essentially what it is it's venting. That's all it is. It's venting, but in a journal. Because these thoughts that you have in your energy, this trash that you're carrying, it's got a weight. It's got a weight to it. It will literally weigh you down. You will feel heavier and heavier if you hold on to these things. They need to be released. They need to be let go. And a great way to do that is to literally get the energy of these thoughts out of your head, out of your body, and onto the page. You literally will transfer that energy that's weighing down your mind. You will put it outside of you onto the page. And then if you want, you can rip that up and throw it away for catharsis. You can burn it. You can also keep it and just reflect on it in the past. But the important thing is that it will no longer be up here and in here when you write it down. It is now out there on the page. So I want you to get your notebooks ready, get your pen, your pencil if you have one, and we're going to do this exercise together. And I want you to take one of the money beliefs from above, or even just a money belief that you recognized within yourself just now that might be unique to you, that's kind of like weighing you down. Like, here, let's rephrase it this way. If you think about just living your dreams, living your most abundant life, where you have all the money that you could ever need, what resistance immediately pops up and is like, no, but no, you can't just exist and have all your needs met. You have to earn that shit. You have to sell your soul for that shit. What is the resistance that comes up? I want you to hold on to that energy, and we're going to put that on the page. We're going to get it out of our systems together, okay? So if you guys are ready, just give me a 1 in the chat. All right. Looks like everyone is ready, or a lot of people are ready. I can't tell if it's everyone or not, but a lot of y'all are ready. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So I am going to, where's my phone? I'm going to set a timer for us. And we're going to set it for 8 minutes because 8 is the number of abundance and empowerment, infinity, unlimited energy, possibilities. We're going to journal for 8 minutes, and literally we're just going to vent. We're going to just talk about whatever is blocking us to manifesting our dreams and our abundance. Anything we're upset about right now in our physical 3D reality that's just pissing you off, making you feel small, putting you in that box, in that matrix, in that victim mindset, and you're going to write about it. And I mean, the more you can channel your inner teenager here, the better. Like, be an angsty teenager. use all the F-bombs, like get pissed off, just let loose, because the more you're able to do that, the more you're going to be releasing that junk, and the more you're going to open yourself to abundance and to source. Dean says, been seeing 8 combos a lot lately for sure. Synchronicity. And Dylan says, I keep trying to manifest, finding my passion, creating life for myself and financial freedom. Then I get stuck in, well, I actually do not want money. I just want to feel free to do what I want with my life. Then I ask if I can just travel to a world without money, LO, which does not appear to be realistic. Yeah, what I would encourage you to do, Dylan, I mean, definitely journal about this in this exercise now, but I would encourage you to focus on that, like finding your passion, doing your passion, taking action on that and what lights you up. And don't think about the money, because when you are in that energy of just focusing on your passion, the abundance will come to you naturally. It will just come naturally, and you will have like the money that you need. But it's the part of you that's like, oh, but I want to travel to a world where there's no money. That's the resistance. That's what you want to journal out of yourself. You want to just release that. Yeah, Al says, I just wanted to roar, let it out and roar, enjoy. Yeah, do it, do it. Roar, please, by all means, release that shit. All right. And on that note, friends, on the count of 3, I'm setting the timer, and we are going to journal that shit right on out of our realities. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 8 minutes. Let it all out. And Brittany, it's okay if you have no idea what your passions are. Just focus on how you want to feel. Just a feeling. Just that feeling of relief. Maybe the feeling, how would you feel if you found your passions, like that drive that you would feel? Focus on that and notice the resistance that comes up. Okay, friends. Wrapping it up in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put down that pen, that pencil, and let me know in the chat, how are you feeling? Do you feel a bit lighter? Do you feel like you could keep going? Did you find it hard to get into, or did you find that it was just flowing? Let me know. Manuel says something is working inside me. Yes, that is the alchemy, my friend. That is the alchemy. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Eliza says, yes, got a lot of junk out of my mind. Amen to that. Yeah, Simon says, so much better. It's like I burnt away attachments on me. Yes, exactly. That's the energy we want. So Tsunami says, feeling lighter and more aware of how much I've been fighting myself. I really do want to enjoy life. Yes, again, it's drawing light. It's like bringing light to those thoughts, the ways you've been resisting and fighting yourself, right? Cool, cool, cool. And going back to Zoom. So Nil Ramil says, yes, I've tried to journal before and it was hard. Here it just flowed. Gratitude for everyone for this. Ian said a bit of a challenge, but lighter and rising in frequency. Brittany says at first it was a challenge to get into, but then uncovered something big, which made complete sense. Beautiful. Yeah, and for those who like it was a challenge at first, that's exactly why we set the timer. So if you're doing this yourself, I encourage you to like set the timer as your accountability and just be like, I'm gonna just go for like longer than is comfortable, basically. And eventually you'll push through that resistance and you will get to the heart of it. Felina says, I didn't realize just how many self-limiting beliefs I have been carrying. I feel so much lighter. Amen. Yes, literally, we are enlightening those beliefs. Stephen says, was flowing, a lot less judging myself for judging, ironically. Since my passions feel fairly malleable, feel lighter and less tense in the body. Yes, amen. That's what we want. That's what we want. Dean says, feeling empowered by my draconic spirit realm, Merlin energetic mind cleansing. Love that. Love that. Magical. Okay, cool. So this is something I would recommend, just like showering. Do this regularly, okay? Do this regularly, and you will notice a world of a difference. And as you saw, you don't even need to do it for long, just like 5 to 10 minutes. I can tell you at like the pinnacle of me being in struggle bug energy, I would do this sometimes for like an hour, 2 hours, and just so much heaviness. And you know that you're like really getting into something good when you start like crying, when you want to like scream, when you want to like throw your pen. Like that's how you know you're really transmuting some juicy stuff there. And that's the emotional realm, which we're going to be getting into tomorrow. Eliza's like, ooh, thirsty work getting all this out. Yeah, I was literally just thinking, I'm like, I am so hungry right now. Like, we'll have to wrap this session up fairly shortly because I need to eat now. We did a lot of transmutation together today. So Manuel says, my mind still is holding on to the beliefs, but my heart is pulling them away from me. Yes, exactly. See? So the mental realm keeps you in the matrix, and the heart sets you free from the matrix. Your heart is the key that opens the door to that highest timeline that we got a little glimpse of today. Alrighty. Excellent, guys. So we are not done yet. I'm going to talk about Dragon Wealth for a little bit, and then I'm going to give you guys your homework. And there is going to be homework, by the way. I didn't mention this before. There's going to be homework after every day that we do. And again, just like showing up, I encourage you to actually do the homework. I'm not just saying that to be cute, like, oh, here's your homework. It's important. It's you can think of it more as your integration work, okay? Because this is how you're really going to wire it in. You're going to make it tangible. You're going to make it real. So you will be given homework shortly. And remember, at the very end of the session, that's when I'm opening it to questions. So please drop any questions that you guys have in that Q&A box at the bottom so I can get to those at the very end. Okay, so Dean says, you're right about the working the mind makes me hungry too. Transmutation's heavy work. And Michelle says, when I started the first QAA, it was super hard for me to even start. And now it's finally flowing. Yoo-hoo! Woo! Congrats, Michelle! Celebrating with you. Yeah, it's been almost like 2 years now, right? Since the first QAA. So look at how far you've come. I don't know if you kept a notebook from that one, but maybe now is the time to revisit that notebook and be like, oh, look at the progress that I've made. And on that note, to our sponsor, Dragon Wealth. So Michelle is a participant in Dragon Wealth. And if you would like to be a participant in Dragon Wealth, you can join via that link there. So Dragon Wealth, as I like to put it, is basically the sponsor of QAA and the sequel to QAA. So as much as I wish I could just like give you guys free stuff all the time, it is very energetic intensive to do this sort of work. And it's also money and time intensive. So if you want to support this work, you can do so by joining Dragon Wealth. That allows me to continue hosting these free workshops for people that maybe can't participate in these paid sort of programs. And the first person to sign up today will get a free one-to-one session with me as a bonus. So you'll get all the stuff that comes with Dragon Wealth and also a one-to-one session with me. So basically, Dragon Wealth, as I said, it's a sequel to QAA. So I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. I don't want to get too deeply into it today. I just want you to know it's there. The door is open for you to join. But I would invite you to continue attending QAA and to see kind of how it feels for you if you're getting transformations. And if you like it and you like the vibes and you're showing up consistently and you want to continue with us, Dragon Wealth is the way to do that. It is the sequel. It is a program that goes for about 6 months where we meet every single week and we support each other through our ascension processes. And there's no words for it. There's no words for it. It's just an energetic exchange. And I'm hoping that I can give you guys like a little sampling, a little taste of the energy that we experience in Dragon Wealth in QAA. That is the intention. So Dragon Wealth, who is this for? Basically, Dragon Wealth is for people that are spiritually awakened and are feeling like you're just kind of pushing against a wall and you're not making any progress. Maybe, again, you've tried all of the things and you're not getting anywhere with it. Dragon Wealth could be that key that kind of unlocks it. And this is also for people that are tired of doing it alone. If you're enjoying the community that we're creating here in QAA, if you like, having that feedback from others, that accountability from others, if you like these high vibes to lift each other up, Dragon Wealth is for you. And who Dragon Wealth is not for is basically anyone that is going to remain in like victim mindset. I don't want you in Dragon Wealth. Only radical responsibility only. So if you are ready to be radically responsible for your reality creation, then give Dragon Wealth a try. Because that is what it's all about. It's basically shedding the layers of the matrix, shedding the layers of the 3D, shedding the traumas, the patterns, the stories that are keeping us held back, and ascending together. Know that you don't have to do it alone. And that's why I created that container for people to continue this journey and to have support from others. And basically anyone that has taken part will tell you that it's like a family. And literally that's what we just named the group for this round, is Dragon Wealth Family. When you have tough times and you just need a little love, you need a little validation, the Dragon Wealth Family will be there for you. And thank you, Michelle. Michelle says Dragon Wealth is amazing. Hannah is a fantastic teacher, as you well know. We are in spades. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you. And Michelle will actually be coming on to talk about Dragon Wealth live sometime during QAA. I forget which day exactly. And we'll also be having multiple different people, different Dragon Wealthers, come and tell you a little bit more about the experience throughout this experience. So you can just kind of get a little taste of the energy and see if it's something that you want to pursue. So what you get in Dragon Wealth, basically, this is weekly live coaching sessions for 4 months where you get direct access to me as your guide throughout this process. You get a step-by-step curriculum designed to heal you on a quantum level, open you to wealth and abundance, and guide you in starting to generate money doing what you love. You get a private community off social media where you can mastermind with fellow light bringers and connect with accountability buddies. And I can tell you, like a lot of the people in the Dragon Wealth community, we are healers and we heal each other. So many people in the community will do exchanges with each other where you kind of like offer like Reiki in exchange for their healing or their crystals or a reading, a psychic reading from them. And that's something that's been really, truly beautiful to witness. And it's not something I can really talk about because I haven't even personally experienced it myself. I've just witnessed it and I've seen kind of the friendships, the connections that the Dragon Wealthers have made with each other. So you also will get lifetime access to the Quantum Abundance Accelerator experience. So like I said, these replays, they're going to be available until May 5th. So 5/5. And then we're kicking off with Dragon Wealth on the 6th. And if you want to have lifetime access to QAA, you can join us in Dragon Wealth. And then anyone that participates in Dragon Wealth, not only are you going to get access to this round of masterminding and coaching, but you're going to get 1 year of access to Dragon Wealth in all future coaching sessions. So if you want to join us, drop in the link there. And I'll drop it for you guys on YouTube as well. Like I said, first person that signs up today gets a free one-to-one session as well. And I will also say, so you can pay in full and save a little bit of cash, but there's also a payment plan option for 7 months if money is something that you're struggling with. And if money is a concern, you can always reach out to me if you're genuinely feeling called to Dragon Wealth, but you don't know how to make it happen. And I might be able to work something out with you. Because ultimately, what I want is for you to check in with yourself and see if this is an experience that you want to have and if it feels aligned for you. And if it does, then I want you in Dragon Wealth. Then Dragon Wealth is for you. And if it doesn't, that's totally cool too. I hope that you'll continue vibing with us in QAA and we continue co-creating this abundance together in this free experience. And then we'll go our separate ways. So also, okay, I also want to mention that there's the Dragon Wealth business tier this time, which is basically for people that are really serious about creating a business, doing what they love for a living. And I was guided to creating this tier because this is so integral to that Robin Hood energy that I was talking about before. This is so integral to ascension into new earth. Basically, we're going to be in this energy where you do what you love and what genuinely helps others, and you get paid for that. You get money for that. And basically, I see Dragon Wealth and Dragon Wealth Business as like a springboard for that experience, for that energy. That was my intention in creating this experience, is helping people to bridge the gap, because most people that I know, or I did before I created Dragon Wealth, are like still stuck in the slave system. You're still stuck in the matrix, in the 9 to 5, doing something you don't like, where you feel drained and you don't know how. You know, you want to break out, you know, you want to do what you love for a living, but you don't feel that you can. You don't know how. And if that's you, then I invite you to join us. And if you're super, super serious, Dragon Wealth Business. Dragon Wealth Business will also give you access not only to Dragon Wealth, but to TikTok for Business, which is basically a whole program all about how to use social media for your business in a very heart-centered, empowered way. And so you get access to TikTok for Business, you get access to social media for healers, and most importantly, you will get 8 one-to-one coaching calls with me throughout your Dragon Wealth experience. So basically, these are bi-monthly calls where I will work with you to create a plan for you to break free from the matrix. And I don't offer one-to-one coaching anymore. So if you want kind of that one-to-one attention from me, this is your chance. This is your opportunity to get it, for those who are super serious about it. So again, I will leave the link there one more time. And we will get into today's homework. Eliza says, I want to, but my situation with abundance right now is I'm literally relying on shared family wealth with no 9 to 5 job. The employers don't want me either. So money is kind of difficult right now. That's okay. I would say, again, if this is you, just sit with the energy. Just keep attending Quantum Abundance Accelerator. Sit with the energy of Quantum Abundance Accelerator. Maybe a miracle will happen and you will manifest the needed money for Dragon Wealth if you feel called to it. But maybe once you finish QAA, you don't feel called to it. And that's cool too. I don't want people in Dragon Wealth that aren't genuinely feeling called to it. And that also, I want to make very clear, is this is not like that traditional like webinar like sales model where like I'm offering you this free thing, but really I'm just trying to pimp this paid program the whole time. This is me genuinely wanting to help you for free and opening the door for you to join us in this paid experience if it feels in alignment for you genuinely. So I would encourage everyone to just sit with yourself throughout QAA, see if it feels in alignment. And if it is in alignment for you, it will manifest for you. You will manifest the money. And I think we're going to have on someone tomorrow who that basically happened for. And I know we've had many Dragon Wealthers in the past who they were struggling. They didn't know how they were going to make it happen financially, logically, but they held that intention like, this is for me. I know it's going to happen. And then money manifested miraculously. So if it's truly meant for you, you will manifest the money. So just, I would say, offer that to the universe. Be present for your QAA experience. Let yourself have all the abundance of this current experience. And we'll get to the future when we get to the future. So the homework. Basically, for your homework tonight, I want you to take this energetic shower journaling exercise and apply it to a situation in your life that is currently stressing you out. So like we said at the beginning, this is kind of the energy right now of being in a pressure cooker, right? Whatever that thing is that's like having you in this pressure cooker right now, I want you to offer that up to the energetic showering. Just write about it and let yourself have as long as you need for this one. For the purposes of time, we basically had to limit today's energetic showering to 8 minutes. But if you do this as homework, let yourself have as long as you need and see how you feel afterwards. And I would recommend doing it before you go to bed, because oftentimes in the past when I've done this and I've done it for like an hour, 2 hours plus, I'm exhausted afterwards and I need to integrate. So I would recommend doing it right before you go to bed or right before you're able to take a nap and to integrate it. But that is your homework. And then we will be returning tomorrow, same time, same place, same Zoom link, to proceed with, I believe, the emotional realm. Yeah, I think the emotional realm is next, but I'm not totally sure on that. And we will keep this energy rolling. We will keep this transmutation going, my friends. So let me know. I'm going to open it up to Qs now. So if you got any Qs, drop them in the Q&A box. And I'm going to get to those in a sec. Yeah, Brittany, it's the same Zoom link. And if you're signed up, I'll also say this. So if you're signed up for QAA, you should be receiving emails with the Zoom links and with reminders prior to the sessions. And that's also where you're going to be receiving the replay links and the recordings. So if you have not signed up for QAA, definitely sign up for that, especially people on YouTube, because I don't think I'm going to continue making QAA free. This was just an experiment for today to see how it goes. I mean, QAA is going to continue being free. I mean, public. I don't think I'm going to just cast it to the public as of tomorrow. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't signed up to QAA, please do so that you receive the recording links, the replays, and you're able to continue co-creating with us here in Zoom. Okay. Let's get to it. So Mark says, have you trained in Reiki and what crystals do you have on? That's a funny question. So I have obsidian. This is obsidian. I don't know what the rest of my crystals are, honestly. I just bought them. I bought these two because they're like pretty. This was a gift. This isn't necessarily crystals. This is just like a lion bracelet. This, ironically, it's funny that you asked about Reiki because this was given to me when I got my like Reiki attunements. And it's like supercharged with Reiki, which is why I wanted to wear it today, to share that healing energy with everyone. But I don't exactly know what crystal this is. I totally forget, to be completely honest. But this is obsidian because it's my favorite. Very powerful energy to it. All right. No, Ramil says Triforce. Yes, I have the Triforce tattooed on my hand. Glad you noticed. So Brittany says, I would love to suggest something. Cease the use of the word bless and replace it with the word bliss. Here's why. Bless equals be less, which is the opposite vibe for what the intention is. Bliss is a much higher vibrational frequency word. I was transmuting the word mentally each time you said it. So on that, I will say I will remain open to that, but I resonate with the word bless. And for that, I would encourage you to not get hung up on like semantics. That's the word, semantics. Which is, it's true. Like maybe it was created with like be less in mind, but we have the power to charge words with our own intentions. So if you want bless, if bless feels good to you and that feels good, it feels expansive, you can use it. If bliss feels better, you can use it. This is, by the way, why I like to drop like F-bombs and stuff. And I swear and I don't care, because it's all about intention. When I'm like swearing, you can probably feel there's no like ill intention. I'm not like sending negativity at you. I actually use it as kind of like a pattern disruptor and more of a playful energy, a transmutive energy. And you can do the same thing with like any word. You can charge it to be what you mean. But that said, it is important to note that yes, like language and languages were encoded with, yeah, certain intentions, collective intentions in mind. So it can be helpful to be aware of these things. Thank you for sharing, Brittany. Right. So Anonymous says, hello, I've started a project on social media, which has gained a bit of traction. I felt a high from this, and now I find myself checking every few minutes for likes and comments. I know this is a bad thing, but can't seem to stop. I don't want to only feel validation from the likes, feel like I failed if I get less. Do you have any tips for stopping this? First off, I feel you. Let's let's send Anonymous some love. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's a hard trap. Like I would say, even sometimes I struggle with this at like the level I am at of being an influencer and having done this for like 4 years now. Even sometimes I struggle with that. And it's really easy. It's like that's part of our collective matrix programming as well, to get like sucked into that external validation, right? And the algorithms, and yeah, so it's totally cool that you're feeling that. And I would recommend that if it's something that you're really like stressing about, that you like block yourself from checking it in some way. Like don't give it any energy. Just post and like dip out. That's what I do. So I noticed, for example, when I first started posting on like TikTok and stuff, that I would be like super like waiting for all this validation from everyone and stuff, and it was really draining and really exhausting. And so now I'm basically at the point where once I post something, I just exit the app. And if it helps you, maybe even delete the app, is like ridiculous as that might be to delete it every time you post. But just like, yeah, like remove that. Give someone your phone, have them keep your phone hostage or something so you can't check those things. Because yeah, it will suck you in. It's a spiral and you don't need it. So I would say, know that when you're coming from the heart and you're just posting from the heart, you can trust that it's going to reach everyone that it's meant to reach, that it has value. And you can just, it doesn't matter how many likes, you know, how many vanity metrics, they call it vanity metrics for a reason, it gets. But also know that it's like totally normal. It's totally normal to feel like, yeah, you failed if you get less. Oh, that's such a collective thing that we're all transmuting right now. But no, there's a lot of like corruption even in the algorithms. So it's like I've done experiments, like as an influencer, I've done experiments. Sometimes like I will literally take the exact same video, I will put it on different platforms. Maybe it goes viral on one platform and the other it gets like 5 views. And like sometimes I will even like on the same platform, I will post the same video like months down the line. One time it does really good, the next time it doesn't. So if you do experiments like this, you'll see that it actually doesn't really matter. Like the algorithms are kind of corrupt in and of themselves, and they will do what they will, but you don't have to be affected by them. When you just are coming at it from, again, that pure intention of generosity, and you're consistently putting that out, you can trust that that in and of itself is its own reward. So I hope that makes sense, that resonates. And yeah, you can totally also energetic shower journal about that to release that overthinking energy, right? That's exactly the kind of thing we can transmute with the energetic showering. Yeah, so Nil Ramil says technology detox maybe helps me in other areas. That can certainly help. So Leo says, how do you change a belief, Hannah? Ooh, puts me on the spot. That's a great question. And I would say it's multifaceted, but it's very simple at its core. And really what it comes down to is conscious choice. That's it. So if you make the conscious choice to change a belief, it will be so. You will change that belief. So for example, if you notice, let's transmute something right now. Let's say you have a limiting belief that you have to suffer to earn money. Okay, you're like, okay, the more I'm suffering, the more money I'm earning. This is a collective program that many of us have. You can then decide, like, that's no longer my reality. I choose to believe that the more I'm enjoying life, the more money I make. Done. Simple. And then what happens is you can start to integrate that. So you notice, like, maybe you're working really hard at your 9 to 5 job and you're suffering and you're like, oh, and you notice the thoughts. Again, it's the overthinking, right? The mental realm. It's like, it's a trap. Notice that, and then consciously choose, like, no, this is no longer my reality. I choose to exist. I choose to have fun, and for more money to come to me when I am existing, when I'm having fun. And basically, you just consciously make this choice over and over and over again, noticing, observing when the thoughts come in and are like, ah, this is your belief, this sucks, and then choosing to replace it every given moment. And through consistency, you will eventually create the new belief. So I can say, for example, like, I used to be so mired in that belief that, like, time equals money, and the more time I'm putting into something, the more money I'm making. But I can tell you, after having gone into business for myself, I no longer have that belief, like, at all. Maybe there's still some traces, some remnants of it, but it's huge compared to what it was like 5 years ago. And I just generate the conscious choice over and over and over again. So I hope that makes sense. And it's really all it comes down to. It's quite simple, but I know easier said than done. And that's where experiences like QAA and Dragon Wealth come in handy, is basically these experiences help you to keep your vibe high. They help to keep you accountable so that you're able to stay in the energy of that new belief rather than getting pulled into the energy of comfort in the old belief. Yeah. And you are welcome. Okay. Last call for questions, friends. Because I'm getting hungry. I need to eat. I need to refuel myself. So we're gonna end this live shortly. On YouTube, y'all are asking about how do you sign up for QAA, the mailing list, so you receive the replays. That's important. Yeah, so let me put that link for you guys on YouTube. It's right there. So if you click that link on YouTube, you can sign up for QAA. I'll also include that link in the description of this video once it's up later on YouTube. But yeah, you can also find that link on my website and in the descriptions of most of my videos from the past 2 weeks. All right, so I'm just reading the chat over here. Michelle says, I was looking at the word release. To lease is to sign a contract. I am not re-signing this contract. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, words are so interesting, right? Like how much is encoded there in our language. Eliza says, I'm starting a pet portrait / art business, and I'm wondering if you have any tips for attracting business to me more easily and faster so I can get my abundance flow finally moving forward. Is there a connection between dogs, dragons, and wealth? Because I found lucky coins on walks with my dog, and dragons seem to be linked to dogs and shows. Just curious. Interesting. That's, yeah, such an interesting connection. And I would say 1,000%, if you feel that, that's totally true. And it's funny because I started, my business doing animal communication and also working with people's dragon guides. So yeah, I would say they do kind of work closely together because dragons and animals, they all communicate via telepathy, right? So if you can communicate with dogs, you can communicate with dragons. If you can communicate with dragons, you can communicate with dogs. And I would say a lot of dragons, earth dragons in particular, they kind of watch over pets and they work with pets very closely. So yeah, there's definitely a connection, and there can be a connection between anything you want. And I will leave everyone with this, know that if there's something that your heart desires and that you genuinely enjoy doing, you can actually make money doing that thing. Like you can. You wouldn't have the desire to do it otherwise. It's possible to be supported doing that thing. So for example, it's a very, very niche specific example of this, which I still geek out over, is the fact that like I have always loved dragons and I love drawing, but I especially love drawing dragons. And I love just like the organicness. It's so weird, so niche, so simple. And I always thought that like I couldn't actually make money from like pen sketches of dragons. Like that's so specific, that's so niche. And then the dragons, like when I started connecting with the dragon spirits, they guided me to create this Meet Your Dragon Guide service where I literally connect in with people's dragon guides and I draw sketches in pen of their dragon guides. And then I channel messages from these dragon guides. And yeah, so now I'm making money doing that. And it's just something I never would have imagined. It's like kid me would be like jumping up and down to know that I could actually make money doing something that cool and that fun and that exciting and magical. So Ian says, I struggle with blocks when I'm writing or trying to journal, Hannah. And to that, I would say, Ian, think of Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. So I would say if you're struggling with blocks, that's cool. Keep doing it. Set that timer, just write, just let yourself write, even if it's gibberish. Maybe it's just scribbles. Maybe the words are not working. Just scribble, and like allow yourself to channel that like, that muck in your head. Get it out of you onto the page. That would be my suggestion. Hope that makes sense. You're very welcome. Yeah, so out only is like, what's your favorite part of the dragon to draw? I like the eye. Me too. That's always my favorite because whenever I draw the eye or the eyes of a dragon, that's when its soul really comes through and I really feel like, oh, I can feel it. And usually when I draw the eye, that's when I get the channeled messages for people too. And that's when I can just go into the channeled messages. Super fun stuff. Alrighty. So I think that's all the questions we have for now. I'm not going to bring anyone online for coaching today just because it's so late and I'm exhausted and I need food. I need sustenance. But perhaps we can do it tomorrow. And we still have 7 sessions left. So basically any session I can bring you guys on. Again, I would encourage you to just set the intention. If this is something you want, put that out to the universe to come on for the live coaching. And maybe I will bring you on in one of these upcoming sessions. So Nil Ramil says, gratitude, Golden Dragons, Source, Hannah, and everyone here and watching the recording. Thank you for sharing sacred space with us and holding space for each other. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, thank you everyone for showing up. Really appreciate you for taking this time for yourself, making this commitment to yourself by showing up. And it doesn't have to end here. And I would recommend not letting it end here because the energies are intense. We need to support each other and bolster each other right now more than ever, right? And that's what this container, what QAA and Dragon Wealth both are for, is to give you that safety net, that safe little space where you can just be authentically you, and we can support each other throughout the trenches of this ascension journey. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Again, you can use the same Zoom link to attend tomorrow's session. If for some reason you're not receiving it via email, you can reach out to us at support@ownyourpowers.com if you're not receiving it, and make sure that you're signed up for QAA so that you are receiving these emails. But yeah, so much fun co-creating with you guys. Thank you so much for vibing. Sending you so much love and abundance, expansiveness, joy, wealth, blessings, my friends, on your journeys. Namaste. Stay powerful. Bye-bye.